Many times we give up on ourselves way before ourself would actually give up on us. What does that mean? What does that mean? We honestly really take our own pride, our own sense of self, and diminish it in many situations. We don't believe that we are capable. We don't believe that we can do that which we want to truly do. We give ourselves this expectation, this lower sense of knowing that it's not going to work out. You just believe in yourself. What is that? Why does that come about? Well, a multitude of reasons, but what I'm here to talk to you about today is what happens when you push into it. What happens when you push into it for long enough on your own regard, in your own way, that it becomes a part of who you are? That taking those risks and going against the norm in your own specific way, in the way that you're feeling called to do so, what does that do for one's mentality? What does that do for one's overall state of being? Well, the question then becomes, what does it do to not do that? What happens to your state of being when you don't listen to your higher self whatsoever? Well, it's very easy to see when you get outside of it. Once you raise above that level of consciousness, you're able to look around and just simply see it in most cases. Now, you can't go around telling people what they're doing wrong, because nobody wants to be told what they're doing wrong. And either way, real change comes from the inside. So someone has to make it their own idea, right? But for the sake of the conversation of what does it look like, well, look around. Look around at everybody. What does it look like to live a life without faith? Live a life without like an internal faith? I'm not talking about religion here. I'm talking about internal faith. I'm talking about an internal knowing that you are more capable than what you realize, or what you've brought to the physical reality already. You see, for me, what did that look like for me? Well, back in the day, I was extremely anxious, extremely insecure in many ways. I had a ton of self-confidence issues. I was very socially anxious. I struggled to talk to people. Many other situations, I didn't know how to stand up for myself. I felt a lot of pain in situations where it was just normal situations, but what I had going on in my mind caused a different battle, caused something that you wouldn't have been able to see as easily from the outside, but it was what I was going through. And so that was my story, right? And I went through different issues like that where I didn't know who I was trying to be or who I was meant to be whatsoever, and I was heading in the wrong direction. I was letting pain have a voice. I was letting myself play victim deep down. Now, truth be told, if you were to ask me if I was a victim, I would have told you hell no. It would have been the last thing I would have consciously accepted. But what was happening deep down was that was what I was making decisions from. I was making decisions from this place that, like, I'm not good enough. That, this has happened to me and I should just say fuck it and do whatever I want. Again, I wouldn't have consciously told you any of that. I wouldn't have consciously told you that I felt to be a victim. But deep down, there was a victim mentality. There was a victim side of me that was wreaking havoc on my life. Why do I explain that to you? Well, it's part of the story of developing my internal faith. You see, I had to come out of that. I had to first realize that that's what was going on in a way. That I was holding myself back simply because I thought I wasn't good enough, or that because of my story, I wouldn't have been able to make a real change. I wouldn't have been able to make a real difference in any way. So why would I hold myself back? Why would I keep a belief like that true? Well, it's because of pain. It's because of unresolved internal pain. An internal understanding that maybe we don't consciously understand. Like there was pain buried deep down because of this story and that story and that story. And until I really dove into it and took action to transform the understanding, until I did that, it was holding me back. It was like a weight on my heart. It was a weight on my soul, not allowing me to move as quickly, not allowing me to move as much mobility, holding me back, not allowing infinite intelligence to work through me at all. You see, but infinite intelligence, the universe, God, would tell me to do things, but I didn't realize that's what it was. But I was being urged or called to do new things, to do different. And with that heavy heart, with that internal heaviness, once again, I wasn't able to fully activate within the ideas that would come to me. Now I would do my best. I would take action, and I would get a different result than what I was getting before. But it wasn't as great as it could have been in terms of physical reality results. What would happen was I would fail overall. Like I would feel a lot of pain within that endeavor. And it was up to me to make the right reaction from that point. Perhaps that's, again, when I allowed infinite intelligence to work through me. In reaction to this pain, I chose to get back up and continue on. To reiterate with purpose. You see, I've done this for the past 4 or 5 years. Now I'm finally getting to a place where things are falling into my lap. I'm finally getting to a place where the infinite intelligence that's working through me is bringing exactly what I need to me. I'm allowing my purpose to be propulsed into the world. You see, because I'm not heavy-hearted anymore. I don't have these deep-seated insecurities and self-conscious ways of thinking, these patterns. I don't have as many, nowhere near as many. Don't get me wrong, there's still things I have to process. My point is that I have lightened the weight of my heart by releasing my ties to the physical world in many ways, my negative ties, the things that were holding me back, the drinking, the victim mentality, the alcohol, the smoking. At one point, the drugs, back when I was in school, that was one of the first things I had to relinquish. The video games, the entertainment, the scrolling, these different physical reality based ideas and concepts and ways of entertainment that everybody does, might I add. Everybody does it. Not doing it is almost the weird thing nowadays, right? You tell someone you don't drink and they think you're fucking weird. Tell someone you don't really watch TV, you don't really scroll on social, you don't have TikTok. You're weird, right? Guys, I haven't had TikTok a day in my life other than to post content. I've never went scrolling on TikTok. I've had a small amount of scrolling on YouTube and Instagram, but Instagram a ton way back when. But my point is that made me weird, right? But that's something I never got attached to. That's something that I knew would be terrible for me. Because I experienced the iFunny, the Instagram for years as a teenager. Like from 5th grade and on. 5th grade to, I don't know, junior year, senior year, year after senior year, somewhere around there, 6, 7, 8 years, I was scrolling on social medias. I was on there brain rotting. Senior year, somewhere around then is when I really started to realize that I was wasting my time and I had a lot of things that I wanted to build, a lot of things I wanted to focus on. So what did I do? I removed that heaviness. I removed that desire of my heart, of my mind, of my instant gratification based mindset. I removed that desire over time by replacing it. You see, when I picked up those books and I would start reading, this book right here was one of the very first that I struggled with, but also got a ton from. Also Can't Hurt Me, somewhere down here, a couple others. Picking those books up felt like fucking nothing, dude. It felt so cliche. It felt pointless. Again, I'd sit there bored reading. Why did it feel boring, even though I was reading good books? Well, let's think about it. I could go on my phone and see a funny video, a video of a woman, a video of dogs chewing something up, a gory video, a news video, any millions, plethora of different content stimulation ideas right there in the palm of my hand. Or I could go play the video game. I could play the video game and have fun with that, have endless fun with that, right? Or I could watch TV. That's just 3 to name a few. Could name many more. But I could go do any of those things and instantly have this stimulation, this gratification of the mind. This like, oh yeah, I feel good. I feel great. Let's keep doing it. You know what I mean? Easy, quick dopamine, bam. But instead I chose to pick up a book and put my mind to work on reading and beginning to understand and conceptualize and see what the author was talking about. And so I developed patterns within that. I developed patterns of making sure that I was actually ingesting what I was reading. Because it's very easy to skim over something and not actually ingest it, right? Truthfully, the reading level of America is around a 7th or 8th grade level nowadays. It's only going to get worse if we don't choose to break down these habits, these habits to the instant gratification. Anyways, back to my original point. I had to transform this heaviness of my heart into something that was light. I had to say, you know what? All this shit that I'm watching, the video games I'm playing, it's only hurting me because I'm not doing anything. I'm just endlessly consuming. I don't want to just endlessly consume. I didn't realize that I was a creator yet, might I add. I didn't realize that that was what I was trying to be. Yeah, that's what I wanted, that I knew I had inside of me, a creator. But I knew that being an endless consumer was only hurting me because that's what I had spent the first 20 or 16, 17, 18 years of my life doing. And I was starting to see how it was hurting everybody around me. But I didn't realize I was a creator, and that's what I was striving for. But I'll tell you what I did know is that, again, that consumption was hurting me. So I started consuming something that was actually going to help me. I started reading. I started meditating. When you meditate, when you journal, when you reflect, these are acts of creation. These are when you mentally process your ideas and you smash ideas together and realize what's going on in your life. That's a process of creation. Reading books can be amazing for you, but it's still consuming. It's still consuming, but what's the purpose behind your consuming? Anyways, I'll make another video on consuming versus creation very soon, actually. It sounds like an amazing idea. So, remove that heaviness of the heart. Move with lightness. Allow your heart to be led by the infinite intelligence, by your greater sense of self. That's where greatness lies. That's where you truly want to be. That's where you truly want to be. Guys, I love you. Have an amazing day. Go do everything you need to do today. Don't allow your lower self to hold you back a day longer. It's up to you, brother. Let's go.